We are live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome back to another Write With Me live stream. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're joining me today for this super chill group writing session live here on my channel. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. Make sure my mic is working, my camera is working. Let me know in the chat. And welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Also, tell me where you're tuning in from. Tell me where you are in the world and what you're working on today. I'm super excited to finally be getting some writing done. Yesterday, I had a wonderful writing session, and I'm looking forward to having another wonderful writing session today with you guys. It's been a while since I've been able to really sit down and get some writing done, so super excited to do that. Okay, everyone can see me? Awesome. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. So many writers from all over the world. Wisconsin, Italy, Sweden, Germany, Indiana, Nebraska, Canada, Ohio. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Greetings. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here for this live stream. I'm going to chat for a few minutes while everybody hops on the live. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you could finally make it. The way that these live streams are structured is we do 3 writing sprints total, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So usually I talk for longer than 5 minutes during the breaks, but we take short breaks between each sprint to chat about our stories. I answer some questions that come up in the chat, and we take a little break, take a little breather, and then get back into the next writing sprint. So that's how these are structured. There's no specific word count goal, no specific challenge to meet. It's just about showing up for your creativity and getting some writing done, getting some writing time in. And all of the amazing writers here in the community right now are here to cheer you on, hold you accountable, and help you to get that writing done. So I'm so glad you guys have tuned in to this live stream. And I want to let you guys know that our annual virtual writing retreat is coming up very soon. So if you've been here for a while, you know that every June I do a virtual writing retreat. This is going to be our 3rd annual writing retreat. And basically, all it is Write With Me live streams. So it's from your own home. You don't have to travel for this retreat. It's all about finding creative time, carving that time out of your schedule, and just taking the time in June to devote to your writing. So I know a lot of you do NaNoWriMo. Some of you do Camp Nano in April and July, I believe, are the months that Camp Nano happens. I've never done it myself, but I do NaNoWriMo almost every year. And this is just kind of a fun way to give yourself the challenge of devoting time to creativity every day, but not overwhelm yourself with a specific word count goal or anything like that. And it doesn't even have to be just writing a novel. It could be editing a novel or rewriting a book or doing something completely different that's creative and about your writing. So it can really be whatever you want, but I'm really looking forward to the writing retreat because it's our 3rd annual retreat that we've done together. And basically what it's going to be is twice a week, I show up here on YouTube and do Write With Me live streams. I'm going to be taking a break from videos and podcasts in the month of June, and instead we're just going to be writing all the time. So it's going to be super fun. So there'll be Write With Me live stream sessions twice a month, and they will be at different times each session so that everyone will have a chance to join, because I know some of you, because of time zones, can't join when I do the live streams on Wednesday at 1 o'clock is usually when I do them. So this retreat will be different times each session, and we're going to do a session on Wednesday and a session on the weekends. So some days it might be Sunday or Saturday, definitely every Wednesday, and different times for each session. So looking forward to that, and I hope you guys will join me because it's going to be a wonderful, super productive month. Okay, that's enough rambling from me. Let's get into our writing projects. Let's get into our first writing sprint. So I'm going to set up my timer here. I wasn't sure if you guys could see this without, I put a book here because I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's kind of low. I thought it was going to get cut off, so I put my copy of Narnia underneath it because I figured that would be thick enough to bring it up to high or visibility level. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see that. And let's get into our first writing sprint. Awesome. So I'm going to pull up my book. Today I'm working on writing a chapter of the series, the co-write series that I'm working on with my sister. We've been writing a action adventure, super fun urban fantasy series together, and we're on the third book in the series so far, the first draft. We haven't released it yet. We haven't released any information about it really. We're kind of like writing a few books ahead so that we will be able to give it to you guys. It is so exciting. So I'm really excited to talk more about that in the future, but right now we're in the first drafting process for the first couple books, and we're working on the climax of book 3, and that's what I'm going to be writing a bit of today. So let's do our first writing sprint for 25 minutes and then take a small break and chat about our stories. So get your manuscript, get your work in progress, get a yummy drink of choice. I have a nice iced coffee here. Set your own timer if you prefer, or you can just use mine and it will ring when the time is up. Okay, so if you guys are ready, let's get started. That is the end of sprint number 1. And yes, I apologize for the leaf blower, guys. It's funny, it's like every time we do one of these live streams, Wednesday happens to be lawn day, I guess, in my neighborhood. So, sorry about the noise. Hopefully you have some good noise canceling headphones like I do, and can just zone out while you write your book. So let me know how it went. Tell me in the chat if you had a good first writing sprint. We have 2 more to go, but first I'm going to answer a few questions from the chat, and then we're going to get into our next writing sprint. So it looks like you guys had a good sprint. Awesome. Fantastic. Even if you didn't write much, that's totally okay. The point is to just show up for yourself, right? That's the most important thing. Crystal Wolf says, today's my birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you're having an amazing, happy day. I am so excited you're here on this live stream on your birthday. That's such an honor. Wow. Okay, so I didn't write a whole lot either, but I'm just starting to enter this new scene that I'm writing, so it always takes me a little bit longer to get the feeling of the scene and get things set up, and then I usually start rolling after that. So yeah, trying to still get sink my teeth into it. Okay, so let's do some questions and answers and then get into our second writing sprint. Let's see. Magali, I hope I'm saying your name right. Magali Dutta asks, Abbie, how do I choose a genre? I would recommend just choosing a genre that you love reading the most. That's the most important thing, is that you enjoy writing the story. So write the book you want to read and, enjoy it. Have fun with it. What genre do you find yourself like most gravitating towards when you read books or watch movies? That's usually the genre that you should write, because that's what you tend to enjoy the most. So that would be my advice. Let's see. Wendy asks, I usually write plotless things like poetry and essays, but recently I've been trying to write stories, but I feel super awkward when I have to write things that happen. It can definitely take a lot of time and practice, and that's the interesting thing about writing, and it should be enjoyable. It should be fun, that practice time. So don't feel like it has to be perfect as soon as you start. Like, none of us is perfect when we first begin, and practice makes perfect. And I don't even like to say perfect, because perfect is so subjective, but practice makes you better. So if you're used to writing essays and poems, then it's gonna definitely feel different to write something in prose, to write a story with characters and things that are happening. But the most important thing is just remember that what's happening matters to the characters. That's the most important thing to remember. Like, not just so much what's happening, but why does it matter? Why does it matter to the characters you're writing about? Because of what they believe and how they feel about life and about themselves. And what is the character arc that they're going to go on? What is the journey of change they're going to experience? Once you start asking yourself those questions, it becomes more of a fun challenge, I think, than just like trying to write something with a plot. The character is the most important part. Let's see. Srikar said, this went so good. I figured out my plot of my story and protagonist and well-defined goal. Thank you, Abbie. Wonderful. That's so exciting. I'm so happy for you. Congrats. That's awesome. So exciting. Does the author have to know exactly how the book ends before writing it? That's from Miriam. Absolutely not. You can definitely start writing the book before you know how it ends. I've written many books where I don't really know how it's going to end, but I have enough foresight and enough of an outline to feel comfortable going into the beginning of it, or start writing it, and then the ending comes to me as I go, and sometimes that's the best way. And let it be a little bit more explorative and fun, and don't necessarily choose your destination at the very beginning. but do keep in mind your character's arc throughout the story. How are they going to change? That's basically what you're playing with here and enjoying the journey of. But that can be very different. And so it can be fun just to start writing a story when you have the beginning and you have enough to feel like, you know, I can start this journey, and then see where it goes from there. Let's see. Hanish asks, hi Abbie, how can I make my story engaging? The number one way to make your story engaging is to make it matter to your characters. Literally, that's it. That's it. If you make your story matter to the characters, and we can see clearly why it matters because of the characters' desires, fears, misbeliefs, and we see what the character is struggling with, what they want, what they're afraid of, their fatal flaw, what they mistakenly believe is true about the world and about themselves, and we see this conflicted bundle of emotions in this character, and then we watch them get pushed outside their comfort zone and have to overcome obstacles and challenges and eventually overcome their misbelief and change as a result of their journey. That's what makes your story engaging. And it doesn't matter what style it's written in. It doesn't matter if it's first person, third person, past tense, present tense. Doesn't matter what genre it is. That's what makes every story engaging. And I think you'll find that as you study more stories and study your favorite movies, study your favorite books, your favorite TV shows, what is it that makes you engaged? It's the characters. Every time. Okay, Madeline asks, when can we order your new book? Soon. I'm going to be letting you guys know more about the book. Super excited, The Other World. It's coming September 19th, but there are going to be, obviously you're going to be able to pre-order before then. I don't have a pre-order date figured out just yet, but when I do, you guys will be the first to know, so stay tuned for that. There's also going to be ARC reading opportunities, which I'm super excited about. So some of you guys may be ARC readers, so that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to releasing more information about that, but stay tuned. So for now, just go show the trailer some love on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen the teaser trailer for my new book, The Other World, you can see that on my YouTube channel. Super exciting. I was so excited to see you all at the premiere for that the other day. That was just one of the best moments of my week. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question, then we're going to get into our second writing sprint. Amy Say Me says, this might sound silly, but how do you write a good summary or blurb without giving away the entire story? I never know how much or how little to write. That is a great question, and I did a whole masterclass on this topic. So it's a big topic, writing a book blurb. It is way easier said than done. And over the years, I've written a lot of blurbs, and I've formulated the process into like an actual template that's like a fill in the blank, step-by-step book blurb template. And if you want to check out that masterclass, I'd give you the link, but I don't know how to find like the link right away quickly. But the quickest way to find it is to go to my YouTube channel and go to the video that I put up like about a few months ago, called How to Write a Book Blurb. And in that video, I link the masterclass. And in the masterclass, I show you guys how to use the template step by step and how to basically fill in the blanks and create a compelling book blurb. But the principle, when we get down to it, is really about showing more of your character's emotions than just the what's happening. So we can like go through what's happening of like, you know, first this happens, then that happens, then this happens. But if you're not showing me how each thing that's happening is emotionally affecting the characters, right, and challenging them in these deeper ways, then it's not really going to hook me or grab me or pull me in to want to read this book. So that's basically the principle that I bring into this book blurb masterclass, is like, how do you show your character's emotions throughout the book blurb? And it's kind of like a whole little science behind it, which is pretty interesting to explore. It was really fun for me to kind of formalize it. That's the word, like turn into a formula. I actually have the link right here, I just realized. So here it is if you want to check it out. Book blurb masterclass. I'm gonna put the link here. But basically for a blurb, you're gonna want to reveal, like going through the 3-act story structure, the hook, the inciting incident, and I like to go into the first plot point. I like to go up to the first plot point moment where your character is forced to face an impossible choice and then make a decision and step outside their comfort zone. And you might even want to go up to like the midpoint of your book. I wouldn't recommend going past the midpoint just because you can be giving away too much at that point. Like it's kind of spoiling the whole story. But leading up to the midpoint and then kind of leaving the reader off at like a kind of another impossible choice moment, I guess, where the character's like on the brink of making another life-changing decision. That can be a nice place to leave off your blurb, to kind of finish your blurb, because then it gives a good sense of like where the story will go, but not how it will end. So it's a little bit unpredictable, but it gives us enough information that we feel like we have a good understanding of what this story is like. Okay, I rambled for way too long on that question, but hopefully that helps. Good luck writing your blurb. I hope it goes well. Okay, let's get into our second writing sprint. Also, somebody just asked about the book cover, which I wanted to address, but I'm not going to go super deep into it. But yes, there's going to be a book cover reveal. It's happening on June 1st, and I'm going to release more information about that in a short video later this week. So keep an eye out for that. Basically, the book cover and blurb and more information about the book is going to be released and announced on June 1st. Until then, I will be posting some fun behind the scenes content. So follow me here on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at Make Your Story Matter. That's where I am also posting lots of author behind the scenes stuff as I put this book together and get it out to you guys. Okay, so let's get into our second writing sprint. I know you all are anxious to get back into your manuscripts, so let's do that. Okay. Again, sorry for the leaf blower ASMR. Just, you either love it or you mute it. Feel free to mute. Just set your own timer so that you know when we go into our next break. Okay, let's go. Is sprint number 2 finished? So tell me how it went in the chat. Sounds like we have quiet again, so that's a good thing. Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully your writing sprint went well. Mine went well. I'm still setting up the intro of this chapter, so I'm trying to pace things. Always a challenge. But it's going well. So tell me how it went in the chat. And if you got a little distracted, that's okay. Have compassion on yourself and your creativity, because the most important thing is that we play and we have fun with it, right? It's not about cranking out the words and getting to a certain number. That's not the point of art at all. The point is to enjoy it and to play and have fun and be imaginative. So even if that just looks like staring out the window brainstorming, that's okay. So embrace it all, accept it all, have compassion and kindness towards your creative mind. You need it. Okay, so it looks like you guys had a wonderful sprint. Awesome. Great job. We're going to take a short break and then get into our third writing sprint. We just did our second one. We're going to get into our third one in just a few minutes. But first, I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. So if you need to refill your tea, stretch, move around, go ahead and do that now, or hang out with me and throw some questions in the chat. Let's see. ISO asks, how do you add character development to a character you already like from the beginning? Very good question. So a character who doesn't need to learn a big lesson because they're already a good person, they already are pretty morally upright. That can still be a wonderful opportunity for a character arc. So character arcs don't have to be huge and drastic, 180-degree turn from being a morally gray person to being a great person, or being a villain to being a hero. It doesn't have to be super drastic. It can be something very subtle. But developing the journey of change is really all about how do all these external events create internal challenges for the main character. So even if you like this main character at the beginning, I would challenge you to explore what are some of their flaws, what are some of the things that trip them up and that they need to overcome. What are those insecurities or misbeliefs that get in their way of finding true happiness? Because those are the challenges and obstacles they're going to be forced to overcome throughout the course of the story, and overcoming those challenges will be what tests their character and brings them to a better place. So it's not so much how drastically do they change as much as does the plot force them to grapple with their internal conflict? That's the most important thing. So hopefully that helps. Eileen asks, can I publish a book in another country than where I live? Yes, absolutely. If you're self-publishing, you can distribute worldwide through different distributors like Amazon and Ingram Spark. Those are the two platforms that I use to distribute my books independently. So Ingram Spark has a wonderful global program where you can distribute your books to every country, and most retailers in those countries will be able to carry your book and sell it on online retailers. Also, same with Amazon. Amazon, as far as print books go, there are distributors like Ingram Spark that you can distribute worldwide. Amazon does the same thing, I believe. I don't publish my print books through Amazon, but I do publish my ebooks through Amazon. And obviously with an ebook, it's available everywhere, all around the world. And digital downloads usually are, depending on the platform you use, but usually every platform, a digital book will be available worldwide. But check the distribution, all the information about the distribution platform before you go with the platform, but I do recommend Amazon and Ingram Spark. Let's see. This question is from Hermione. How can I have my MC say that something is off about the people around her without bluntly saying it? This would be a good opportunity to set up like a benchmark, I guess, of like, what are the characters like normally? If something's off, then why is that? Like, what is the norm? What does that look like? And if we're stepping into a scene, and this is like the first chapter, scene number 1, something's off, and you haven't had a chance to previously establish what the baseline is, then maybe have the point of view character make a few observations about like, this character seems like off because they usually do this, but now they're doing this. Usually I can find this happening at this time of day, but today something else is happening. So contrasting what should be with what is a good way to show that something is off or something is unusual, because we're given a baseline for how something usually is or how a character usually is, and then showing the contrast of how they are now or how something is now. So that's one way to do it. Super chat just came in from Mallory. Thank you so much for the super chat. I so appreciate that. Thank you guys. Okay. Oh, hold on. My chat is jumping all over the place. How can I make my setting interesting throughout the whole novel, even though the plot takes place in the same building 90% of the time? Oh, that's from Michaela. So making a setting interesting, if it takes place in the same building for 90% of the time, I guess I would start to wonder, like, does the setting have to be interesting per se, or is the real point of interest what's happening with the characters? Because I know sometimes setting can get a lot of like emphasis and attention and focus, especially with topics like world building. But sometimes, world building has its place, but is your story not really that much focusing on the world building? Like, maybe world building isn't a huge part of your story, and that's okay if it's not. And maybe the setting isn't a huge part of what's going on. Maybe the dynamic of what's happening is more to do with the characters. And it sounds like if you have a story that is kind of within the confines of one space throughout most of it, and I've written stories like that a lot of times. 100 Days of Sunlight is quite like that because most of it takes place in Tessa's bedroom. But I don't ever really have to go deep into like making the setting of her bedroom interesting, because it's more about what's happening between the characters and the different emotional conflicts that are taking place. So yes, there's a good balance to find there, and you can make a setting interesting, but don't feel obligated to spend a lot of time on it, especially if it's more of a character-driven story. Let's see. I'm going to answer one more question, and then we're going to get into the next sprint. Oh, this one is good. This is from, I'm probably going to say your name wrong, Eulamila. Eulamila. Can the fear be the same as the misbelief for the main character or any character? Short answer, no. Long answer, the fear and the misbelief sound similar, but they're different in that the fear comes from the misbelief, okay? This is the best way to look at it. The misbelief is the root of the fear. So the misbelief isn't necessarily the fear itself. It feeds the fear. But the fear kind of exists apart from the misbelief. So let's say my misbelief is the only way I am a valuable, worthy person is if I am successful and famous and have a lot of money. Okay, let's say that's my misbelief. My fear then would not be that. My fear would be, not being successful, being a failure, not being famous. Like nobody knows who I am. I don't have much money. I'm not that successful. That would be my fear, right? That would be the scenario I don't want. And then my desire would be to be successful and famous and fortunate and all those things. So you can see the two, like this is a very like stark example. I'm just trying to like illustrate here so you can see the difference, but you can see how it's like very much contrast, like success versus failure. And then the root of those two things, the root of the goal and the fear, comes from the misbelief that I'm only worthy if my successful life looks like this. Okay, so that's the misbelief. That would be the fatal flaw. And then if you were writing a character like this, the character arc they go on would be to discover that they are a worthy, wonderful person, regardless of what material success they accumulate over their life, and that they are precious and loved, and they are successful even without all those material things and without the money and fortune and fame. So that would be kind of like the theme of the story. So all these things kind of work together, but that's just a quick example to show you that like the fear comes from the misbelief, but the misbelief isn't the fear itself. So hopefully that helps clear things up. It can also help to kind of like sketch out like different examples of this. And a great place to explore this deeper is the Enneagram personality typing system. That is a great place to start if you're trying to find this contrast of like fear and goal and where it comes from. So highly recommend checking that out. A super chat just came in. I'll answer that real quick before we get into our third sprint from Dark Solid X. Thank you so much for the super chat. How do I extend my fight scene? It seems too short. I can only use strike, punch, kick, and dodge and weave so many times. Any advice? That's a great question. And I actually love writing fight scenes so much. You guys know I love writing fight scenes. And I'm going to give you a link to a podcast that Kate and I did about writing fight scenes, writing better fight scenes. I believe that's what it was called. I can't even remember what it was called, but oh, come on. Y'all are like, I can find this myself. Okay, here it is. How to write realistic fights. Yay. Okay, here it is. I highly recommend watching this podcast. Okay, I just dropped the link in the chat. But in that podcast, Kate and I go into just some of our favorite techniques for writing fight scenes. And as far as extending them to be longer, I would question whether they should be extended because fights are very fast. In real life, they happen extremely quickly. And if you want your pacing to feel realistic, you might not want to be dragging out the fight to be super long. You might want to ask yourself, like, if I see things at the pace at which I read, then how slow or how fast is this fight going by? And does it actually feel natural and realistic to have it just go by pretty quickly at a quick pace? So pacing is huge with writing fight scenes, but of course it depends on how much of a fight is happening and with what different abilities or maybe superpowers or something if you're writing fantasy. So lots to consider, but check out that podcast because Kate and I get super nerdy about fight scenes, both being fans of martial arts and training martial arts. It helps a lot to know some self-defense also, to write fight scenes more realistically. So highly recommend doing that too. It's a great skill all around to have some skills of self-defense and to be able to write it better. It's like win-win. Okay, so let's get into our third and final writing sprint. So you guys can see it and get my timer going. So I can restart. Okay, so ready to get into our third sprint. Let's start the timers and get back into it. Sprint number 3 is done. Tell me how it went in the chat. Tell me how your whole session went as a whole. Hopefully it was wonderful. Hopefully it went by too fast because you were having fun and enjoying the creative process. I hope so. I hope it has been enjoyable and lots of fun and explorative, imaginative. That's the most important thing about creative writing. Not how many words you write or if you met a certain goal or something. It's about showing up, enjoying yourself, having creative play, and just experiencing something new each time and tapping into that inner child, the creativity that we used to have as kids when there was no pressure, there was no goal or no task to accomplish. It was just for fun. It was just for our own enjoyment, our own creative expression. So hopefully that's what this session has inspired you to do and inspired you to think about some more. Looks like you guys had a wonderful, productive session. I'm so happy. Congratulations. I'm so glad you were able to join me for this writing session today. It was so much fun, and I'm looking forward to doing more of them in June. So if you weren't here earlier when I was talking about my writing retreat, I'm going to be hosting my 3rd annual virtual writing retreat here on my channel in the month of June. So I'm going to be taking a break from videos and podcasts, and instead we're going to be writing twice a week live on my channel. And it's just a fun opportunity for you to take that story that you keep putting off and that writing project that you always put on the back burner and say that you wish you had time to do. I challenge you to make that time in June, if you can, even just a couple hours each week, each writing session, when we meet on Wednesdays and weekends in the month of June to write together. So I'm going to be putting out an official invitation video on the last day of May, so look out for that for more details about the event. But I hope to see you guys here on my channel in the month of June. So if you enjoyed this writing session, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss all of that good stuff coming. So very excited. I'm also really excited to release more information about my upcoming novel, The Other World, which is coming September 19th this year. So exciting. And I can't wait to share more about that with you guys. The cover reveal and blurb reveal is happening June 1st. So stoked. It's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited for you guys to see the cover. It's so gorgeous, and it's just a work of art, and I can't wait for you to see it, and I can't wait for you to read the blurb and learn more about what this story is about and who these characters are. So that's coming soon. Stay tuned, and thank you guys so much for being here, for joining me for this writing session. I can't wait to write with you more in June, and until then, I will see you in my video next week. Okay, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, and keep writing, enjoy the process, and as always, rock on.